On this week's episode of Bayou Wild TV, what is the Super Bowl, a nearly 12-pound speckled trout, a sockeye jigging pole, and a sheephead whisperer all have in common?
Your arm's going to be wore out by the end of the day. What a war, what a fight. Makes a great day on the water, and it's always fun to be a part of Bayou Wild TV.
We'll show you as we hit the waters of Lake Ponchartrain for a uniquely wild fishing adventure and an equally one-of-a-kind fishing story.
Fight the fish to the boat. I get the net under her. I'm holding the rod up. I get her in the net. I'm trying to lift her up out the water. She jumps straight up out the net and hits the water like a torpedo. And nothing but drag going out.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Global Outdoors. Find your next adventure and share your experiences with others by downloading the Global Outdoors mobile app or visiting globaloutdoors.com. Every day, we strive to preserve traditions that have spanned generations.
Around every turn of the bayou, Mother Nature reveals unique people, places, and experiences.
And the bounty of animals and fish. Well, in Louisiana, we just call that lagniappe. I'm Don Dubuque.
I'm Chris LeCoq.
I'm Captain Martha Spencer. Join us as we document the adventure,
Sportsmanship,
And heritage that make us Bayou Wild. Our journey this week starts at Wrigley's Marina in Slidell. Here you'll find some impressive fish mounts decorating the walls. A closer look reveals one of the heaviest specks weighed in Louisiana.
Wow, just think about it. My fish was caught 22 years ago already. I mean, Leon's fish was 50 years old when he caught his. A lot of people in Louisiana do claim my fish to be, #1 in the state.
Traveling just a couple of miles down the road along Salt Bayou, we meet Captain Kenny Kreeger, the man behind this catch of a lifetime.
$1999 Super Bowl Sunday. Well, I woke up that morning, it was 26 degrees. The wind was blowing 15 to 20 out the northwest. I hooked up the boat and I went down to Tights Marina. Nobody there. I was the only boat that backed down the ramp and launched. I headed out to the old Highway 11 bridge, kind of protected a little bit from the wind. I made 3 or 4 casts, and my first hit was very, very slight. I mean, it was so cold, you could barely feel that bump. I set the hook on, it was a 5-pound trout. The water was filthy dirty. I was always told, you can't catch trout in dirty water, but there it was. Made 3 or 4 more casts, 4-pound fish. 3 or 4 more casts, 5-pound fish. I just kept working my way down the bridge. On my 13th fish, I felt a little thump. I leaned back and set the hook, and that rod just doubled over. So I'm fighting this fish, trying to get it to the boat. The fish made a pass on the side of the boat about a foot under the water, and all I could see was a shadow. And I seen almost 3 foot long. I'm thinking, man, this got to be a gallfish or whatever. But when she went to the front of the boat, I just leaned back on her. She came and she opened that big yellow mouth, and she started shaking that head on top of the water, but she was so big it looked like slow motion. Fight the fish to the boat. I get the net under her. I'm holding the rod up. I get her in the net. I'm trying to lift her up out the water. She jumps straight up out the net and hits the water like a torpedo. And nothing but drag going out. Okay, everything starts shaking on me. Legs start shaking, hands start shaking. Now I'm starting to talk to the Lord. Please, Lord, let me get it back to the boat one more time. So I get it back to the boat, I get the net under, I'm thinking I gotta do something different. I started to lift her up out the water, I didn't even look. I just threw the pole to the bottom of the boat, grabbed the net with 2 hands, flipped her in. She went down on the floor, I sat down. I was so exhausted, my adrenaline was pumping, my heart was racing, my hands were shaking. I'm just sitting there looking at that fish on the floor and could not believe how big that fish was.
Well, Kenny Kreeger's speckled trout brings back a lot of memories for me. I got a call that night. It was SuperBowl Sunday, and I drove to his house. I said, we got to get a picture of this fish. And before you know it, it was recognized as the number 2. And arguably, a lot of people believe that it is actually the number 1 speckled trout ever caught.
Later on that year, I bought me a ticket in the Star Tournament Rodeo, the CCA Rodeo, caught tag redfish. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And after I caught the tag redfish, I had 2 charter boat captains. Both of them came to me and said, Kenny, you got the recognition from your speckled trout. Now you can go out there and you win a brand new boat motor and trailer. Hey man, it's time you get your captain's license and start chartering.
Coming up next, learn how Captain Kenny Kreeger went from being a name synonymous with speckled trout to a man now known as the Sheephead Whisperer.
So I built my reputation on sheephead. Some captains chase trout, some captains chase redfish. I chase fish. Whatever's biting, that's what I go after. I know I always catch a boatload of sheephead.
Plan now for the 17th Annual Eagle Expo in Morgan City, February 18th and 19th. Friday night social gathering ticket includes Saturday's bird watching, wetland and wildlife preservation seminars in the heart of the unique Atchafalaya Basin, boat tours to Eagle Nest, bird viewing field trips, a CC Lockwood photo workshop. Complete details at CajunCoast.com. Special group rate for 5 or more at the Eagle Expo, Morgan City, February 18th and 19th. Visit LouisianaTravel.com to plan your trip today.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Hi, I'm Miss Louisiana Julia Claire Williams on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I'm sure you know that clean, affordable propane gas is used in houses across our state. It's used in cooking, water heaters, drying clothes, and heating homes. But did you know that if you ever run out of propane, you need a certified dealer to inspect your system for leaks before it's refilled? That's the law. Propane is safe energy for everyone, and we want to keep it that way.
All right, today we're kind of on an experimental trip, and those of you who like to fish with light tackle, ultralight tackle, you're going to love this. We're going to head out to Lake Ponchartrain with the Sheephead King, Kenny Kreeger, and we got Blaine Salter here with some of his rods, and we're going to give him the ultimate test.
Today we had the idea of taking the Salter's Jig and Pole Elite Series model, which I thought about it in the past for quite some time, and I got a lot of requests for some crossover rod in the saltwater, and I was tickled pink when Mr. Don called me and said, look, we got an invite with Captain Kenny, and we were gonna go out and target some sheephead. Don was a little nervous starting out, knowing we're fishing with light tackle, and a rod that's usually made for freshwater. It held up great. We vertical jigged, we were able to pitch in the areas. The wind didn't affect us too much, as Captain Kenny, like I said, put us right on the fish.
Look at the bend in that pole.
I love to target sheephead. It's a fine eating fish. Very easy for people to learn how to catch. Now the old timers, when I learned with my father, my grandfather, they used to use the old scraper. They'd scrape the barnacles off the pilings. My daddy would bring a bucket of big old black clams. We'd bust them open with a hammer and chum it all around the boat. That would really, really bring them in. There's so many sheephead right now, though, you don't even have to go through all that. Double hook up. Oh, it's right. All right, she's got one too. You just find you a good spot along the bridge with a good tide movement, straight down by the piling. I like the Carolina rig, but I really enjoy talking in sheephead. That's a good one now. Yes, indeed. Nice one, nice one. Oh, yeah.
Hey, I think we're starting something here, folks. When we started out, we made a little further pitch, say 15 to 20 feet out. And depending on your wind, what I noticed is that I couldn't feel the bite because I had my rod tip up too high. When you're fighting any wind, it's hard to feel a slight bite. Martha actually accidentally came across this. She had lost a hook, so she shortened up her leader. And I said, maybe if I shorten up a leader, I can tell the difference between that weight and that hook. And that was a huge difference. I could actually feel everything I was doing, and when I could feel just a little vibration every time I set the hook, I got him. It's almost like sac-a-lay fishing on a light bite.
There he is. Now, what you do with it? Let's see.
I'm a fly rod. Shortening that leader up made a huge difference for me because as I picked that weight up, I could feel that light bite, and that made the difference. I didn't miss any more fish after I figured out that little pattern. With a heavier rod, with heavier line, I just don't think you feel that bite. Or fighting any wind or wind slack, you're just not gonna feel it. You're gonna reel up and he's gonna have you bait every time, I think.
Whoa! Whoa! I think you come on.
You know, I knew it could be done. I didn't know how well we would do with it, but we had a good day. I mean, if it had been a calm day, we probably would have caught 50, 60 sheephead. I mean, we was only out there a few hours and we caught 20 nice ones.
I hope it starts a new trend. People give it a try because it is absolutely fun. It really is. It makes catching sheephead a whole new world, put it to you that way.
You're not done yet.
They get really big. Biggest one I've ever caught was 10 pounds, but there's an average fish from about 2 to about 5 pounds is your average. Every now and then you'll get a 6, 7, 8 pounder mixed in.
It doesn't matter who you are, you can just wear that fish out. And people don't realize, but that longer rod, it's putting tension and it's wearing that fish out from the time that hook is set. And you're not wearing yourself out by pulling in. It's just, you know, your old school cane pole fishing with a super cane pole. It's long, you just flip it out. And once you get in the right position with always having that rod under the elbow, it's the way to go if you want some light tackle and a fun fight on a rod that'll hold up, definitely on some sheephead.
That's a good one there. Yes, indeed. Nice one, nice one. Oh, yeah.
Tired of the lake, he's just gonna come over here.
I'll come right here and park all day long through the whole ice.
He's gonna have 47 sheephead in his cooler.
I found these rods that we use today work really, really well. They're light, they're flimsy. It was such a subtle bite, almost like catching a little perch or something. But with that pole, you couldn't miss. You could feel every time they touched that bait.
I got it. Go ahead, Captain.
I got one. Cap got one. About time, huh? All right.
Cap's on the board.
Yeah, I'm on the board. That's fun on that pole, man. That's
you'll
fun.
have a blast.
That's fun on that pole.
Well, we've always had questions, even from the time I was in my early teens. Hey, JB, are you making a longer ride for saltwater? I've even had questions on whether you could fish specks with them. But Dad was mostly a freshwater guy. Look, I love fishing. It brings out a whole new era, hopefully. You talk about a fun trip. This is one of the funnest trips I've been on. A lot of action.
A lot of people don't like to fish them because they're hard to clean, but it's a very fine eating fish once you learn how to clean them.
Kenny Kreeger isn't the only saltwater fishing guide in Louisiana that'll tell you not to throw back the undesirables. Here in Grand Isle, Captain Darrell Carpenter demonstrates an easy way to yield some fresh sheephead fillets.
My personal experience with sheephead, you come in with a scar cut, just a cut right here to open it up. Then you can take the fish and stand it on its belly and trace out the rib cage, which is right below the lateral line. From there, you come in and you just start taking your fillet off of the backbone. And then from here, you can either leave it on the scales to cook it that way, or you just take the fillet off of the scales, and there's your fillet.
Coming up, you won't believe what Chef John Fultz is getting ready to do with this pretty black drum.
And I'm going to christen him first, you know.
Hey, he needed it. All right.
It is.
CLG, ready, set, gumbo.
You'll score a touchdown every time you serve Uncle Larry's Ready, Set, Gumbo.
Ask for Uncle Larry's Ready, Set, Gumbo at a store near you.
This is Don Dubuque asking you to join me as a member of the Coastal Conservation Association. For 30 years, CCA has worked in Louisiana to conserve our incredible fisheries, making sure that our fishing is great today and for generations to come. Whether looking out for redfish and specks, eliminating gill nets, building reefs across the coast, or work at the state capitol and in D.C., CCA is doing what's best for the fish and the sport we love so much. Your $30 membership will ensure that this work and our great fishing endures well into the future. Go to ccalouisiana.com and join CCA today.
Add the taste of Louisiana to your next meal. If you like creamy, bold, tangy, or spicy, bring home the taste of Louisiana with sauces from Louisiana Fish Fry products.
Continuing this week's adventure, we're visiting White Oak Estate and Gardens in Baton Rouge. When it comes to developing recipes for underappreciated fish, there's no better advice to seek than from the kitchen of Louisiana's outdoor cooking authority, Chef John Folse.
There's so many of these species, not only in the fish, in the area of fish, but also meat varieties that too often we just walk away from because of the convenience of something else or an attitude that somebody has, I don't know if I should eat this or that. But this is a perfect example of a great fish for a great dish, and I'm glad you recommend it.
Well, you know, it's the first cousin to the red drum. It's the black drum. It's basically in the same family, but I find it to be a much sweeter fish, much more plentiful, and a lot of people just for some reason don't want to deal with them. But I tell you, they're missing out, and today they're going to learn something about cooking.
Well, and I really like it. The price is right.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the good news. And of course, so what we're doing today, we're actually making a very classic. In most of the homes in South Louisiana, the boulettes were made with different types of meats, but in season, the fish and shrimp and all of this, the boulettes made with seafood. So we've actually poached this black drum here in a little seasoned water. We actually put a little crab oil in the water, salt, pepper, granulated garlic, brought it to a boil, reduced the boil all the way to just where the water danced a little bit. Look at the meat.
Ooh,
The meat is
how
really,
pretty it is, too.
It really is. It's a beautiful meat. It's just delicious. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to saute our vegetables real fast. Onion, celery, bell pepper, garlic. It's always the same, guys. Onion, celery, bell pepper, garlic. That's where we start everything. You want to throw some of that meat in here for me?
All right.
Look at the chunks of that black drum. Just a beautiful fish. Okay, so I got that going in. I'm gonna turn the fire off on this right now. Now, why don't you go ahead and throw that egg in here? Just throw it in. I'm gonna just kind of stir it around in there. Even though I normally put it in to the bowl itself, I'm gonna just kind of coat this really well, and then I'm gonna add the breadcrumbs to it. So I'm gonna go right into the bowl. Take a look at that. All of the fish, the sea, and look, you see the color? Look at the color in there, the red, the green, all of those beautiful colors. Look at that bone right there. We're gonna get that one. Yeah, you see, that's why I'm going in nice and easy here. So I'm gonna go in and do that right there. And then down a little bit of the seasoned Italian breadcrumbs. You know, we're just going to put a little bit of that in. That's going to hold it all together. A little bit green onions, of course.
Love them green
onions.
onions.
Yeah, it's all for color and flavor. A little bit hot sauce into it. You don't mind, huh?
No. Put
Throw
extra
a little hot sauce in there. And if you take that fork and kind of mix all of that together, and we're going to let that cool for a second, and then we're going to roll it into the balls, fry them, and you just put a big platter of them on the table. I mean, it's just a really great, great dish.
Back with our black drum and crab claw brulee right after.
All right.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Delta Marina is Plaquemines Parish fishing one-stop. Get live bait, fuel, ice, tackle, and marine supplies. Then launch into the world's most productive saltwater fishing. Return to the fishing cleaning station, relax in first-class cabins overlooking the bayou, all in Delta Marina's safety video-monitored parking lot. Need a fishing charter guide? Delta Marina can hook you up. Cook your catch in your kitchenette or dine in the upstairs restaurant. Visit Delta Marina for a day or a week. Stop in just off Highway 11 down Rosemarie Drive in Empire. Visit thedeltamarina.com.
At Parish Coffee, we wanted to create a coffee brand that people would love to drink every day. Our medium roasts are nice, bright, nutty coffees. Our dark roast coffees are smooth and rich. I think it's important for consumers to recognize that sometimes it's your neighbor that you're supporting. People can go to parishcoffee.com to find the entire selection of coffees.
Well, we're here with Chef John Fultz, who has sometimes been called a magician. I mean, look at this transformation from this basically homely black drum, good fish though, to this.
Oh, the meat on that fish is fantastic. And Don, we're serving it with a little remoulade, a little red remoulade, and a little tartar sauce right next to it. The only other thing I would serve with it would be a nice little Sauvignon Blanc like this. And of course, I would add a little, just on this special day, just a little drip of my bourbon into my shard. You don't mind,
I don't mind at all. To the black drum, huh?
To the black drum. Pay a little homage to a great fish, y'all. I tell you, it's magnificent. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being with us.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do, from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstance, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the hardest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a nonprofit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference.
Plan now for the 17th Annual Eagle Expo in Morgan City, February 18th and 19th. Friday night social gathering ticket includes Saturday's bird watching, wetland and wildlife preservation seminars in the heart of the unique Atchafalaya Basin, boat tours to Eagle Nest, bird viewing field trips, a CC Lockwood photo workshop. Complete details at CajunCoast.com. Special group rate for 5 or more at the Eagle Expo, Morgan City, February 18th and 19th. Visit LouisianaTravel.com to plan your trip today.
Well, I've been talking about this kind of a trip for a while, but I've been thinking about it for a lot longer. Knowing that the Sheephead, you hang tight to those pilings and it's kind of a straight drop, I always thought that if you had either a regular conventional cane pole or the new fiberglass cane poles, it would be an effective way to catch them. And today it certainly proved that it is definitely that.
This week's adventure was one of excitement. It was one of technique and one of appreciation.
Well, Sheephead starts off with the name, Sheephead. It doesn't sound very appetizing, and you get a look at the fish from the front. You see those big chopper teeth that they got, the big sharp dorsal fin. It's a pretty imposing looking fish. It's an ugly fish. It's not pretty. I've written stories about it, called it the Rodney Dangerfield fish because it gets no respect. But it really should, because not only is it a great fighting fish, it's very plentiful, and they're very good to eat.
I got clients now that come in from all over different states. All they want to catch is sheephead.
Your arm's going to be wore out by the end of the day. What a war, what a fight. Makes a great day on the water, and it's always fun to be a part of Bayou Wild TV.
Oh yeah, nice one.
It is these pursuits that challenge us to keep the sport of fishing fun, while telling unique stories of the people who celebrate the adventure, sportsmanship, and heritage of Bayou Wild.